Welcome back to Ozarks Live. I'm here with Mike Stevens from the Moxie Cinema to talk about movie screenings this month. Mike, thanks for joining me. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. It's great to be here.
All right. So we have 3 films we want to walk through today. This first one is kind of a classic thriller called M. Tell me about it.
So it is a film by Fritz Lang, the German director who went on to make movies in America. Made in 1931. It was his first sound movie with sound. He made a famous silent era classic called Metropolis, and it is the blueprint for psychological thrillers. It follows this guy, Peter Lorre, who's this iconic performance as a murderer. And what happens is it's basically a large manhunt for him that brings the police and the criminal underground of Berlin at the time together. And just super tense, but also soul-searching. It says a lot about kind of, at the time, Nazism was in the rise in Germany, and it says a lot about kind of the director's frustration with the police state and the criminal underground kind of uniting, even as it's to this ostensible good end of tracking down this killer. But still just a very tense, fun watch.
Yeah. Now I'm curious, as a film buff, how would you say, like, what's it like knowing how psychological thrillers are produced today versus going back and watching this older one?
Well, it definitely makes me appreciate when I go back and look at something like how little technology they had, and how well he conveys all the meanings and how much tension they bring with editing film physically instead of on a software program. And just what they were able to do, the artistry they were able to create at that level is kind of breathtaking.
Yeah, that's interesting. All right, now this second one I'm kind of excited about, and people may recognize the name, Marcel the Shell. What's to know about this?
So yeah, it is. It started off as a viral video in 2010. The comedian Jenny Slate, who was on Saturday Night Live briefly, did it with her then husband. Kind of, she had this notion of a funny voice, squeaky voice, and he was like, and she was voicing a shell that with shoes on, Marcel the Shell with shoes on. So that was something that kind of blew up on YouTube in 2010, and they've been trying to make a feature-length film, which is a very tough pitch, a stop-motion film that follows a shell, an animated shell. But they succeeded, and it is just a charming, quirky, imaginative film about this this shell who kind of. The feature-length concept is the shell became famous. Marcel is famous because of this viral video, and so is using that fame to track down long-lost families. So it's a lot about survivors and community, even as it's very funny and quirky.
For those that may have been familiar with the video from back in like 2010 or so, what will they love about this film?
I think just it has that same irreverent, funny, squeaky voice and the light kind of touch that they did. They preserved it, so I'm excited to see it.
All right, cool. So the last one we want to touch on is this documentary called Fire of Love. Tell me about it.
So it is about it's a documentary that uses archival footage from 2 French scientists, and they are a couple who fell in love while studying volcanoes and actually perished in a volcanic explosion. So it kind of a portrait of this globe-trotting couple that is as much about the wonders of nature as it is about their relationship. And it's kind of ethereal, but also something you walk away from and kind of wondering at what we're surrounded by and how it impacts us.
What's something that may surprise people about that specific documentary?
The fact that going in, because it's not a spoiler, it's a well-known story, that they die, that you still are just gripped by this couple, and the footage is crazy. Their archival footage is just great.
Any events coming up with the Moxie?
We are doing Moxie mornings. The kids programming is going to be kicking off along with the school year pretty soon.
Cool, very cool. All right, well, Mike, remind people where they can find more information online.
MoxieCinema.com is always the best place to find updated info.
All right, and then if they want to find you on social?
That's at Moxie Cinema for all of them.
All right, well, go check out a movie that you may not typically see over at the Moxie Cinema. Mike, thanks for joining me.
Thanks so much.
And Ozarks Live will be right back.